We only do stupid things because we believe stupid things. So I don't like that word a lot, but the reality is if we knew the truth, man, then we would make good decisions. So it's like practically with my kids, I've tried to just bring them into places of encounter with him where they could know the truth that would lead them to freedom. So they come with us to like those stadium events. I mean, we've been in Israel together. We adventure together, man, to really just see what God's doing in different places, to know truth, right? So that they could walk in freedom.
Yeah. Oh, love that. So you said go to Israel together. That is definitely a bucket list item. But what does that look like to take your family to Israel?
Bro, it looked like traveling all over the country, looking at places that the Bible happened, right? It was amazing just to get a sense of the geography, right? So that when you're reading about these places that, you've got a picture and a feel of what it was like. I'm just really thankful to get to do that. We got to go with a guy who, we didn't hit a lot of the traditional sites. We kind of traveled all over the whole country, man, from the Negev in the south to, the West Bank, over into Jordan, up to the Galilee and the old city, just looking at the stories and the places that, the Bible came alive.
So I think sometimes growing up in the church, I was like, almost sold this and we're, I don't want to say sold this. Ned, you have a purpose. Ned, you have a purpose. Ned, you have a purpose. Okay. So like on one hand, kind of leaning into there's something unique potentially, but then on the other hand, there's also this great opportunity to love your wife and have a family, and that a lot of our purpose is leaning into passing down the values of family and togetherness and joy and faith, etc. And it's less tied to what I do out in the world. What are your thoughts between helping our kids understand the balance between the two of those? And while you think about it for a second, I will tell you that I have 4 girls, so I have this deeper desire to like help them see that being a homemaker and a mother is like a beautiful thing. So not that I don't want them to go be a lawyer or a doctor if they want, but I just wrestle with the amount we put pressure on our girls to do that. And then I'll tell you, because I'm thinking about you have 3 sons. With my son, I'm way more like, what are you good at? What are you going to do out in the world? Like, you have to go pick up a hammer and do something to provide value, right? It doesn't have to be a hammer. It could be whatever. But so I wonder if you're bent, right? Like your response became more from the father of sons. I mean, I know you have a daughter, but you have older boys. So you're like, these boys got to be ready for the world.
Man, holding your child for the first time there's nothing like it. I mean, blows your mind. And then I think, I just never forget, like, when we're getting ready to put him in the car, I'm like, are you crazy? We're going to drive with him? I mean, this isn't even... So, I mean, immediately I felt the weight and responsibility, man, of providing for him, of, protecting him, and then it go through this probably season of just realizing, man, that I have no idea what I'm doing as a dad, right? So, and man, my first one, Eli, he's like super smart, like actually has a Mensa card, right? But dude, very strong-willed. So I'm reading all the books, trying to figure it out and totally failing until I really came across this truth that I shared earlier, man, that my role really is to allow him to make enough mistakes, right, to learn from those so that he could manage and stay free, right? So the challenge in that was being creative enough to come up with natural consequences to his actions that weren't so inconvenient for me that I wouldn't, stand true or stand through it, if you know what I mean. But really, man, it put me in a place where I could come alongside of him and be his ally as he's learning how to work through the consequences, that he created by his actions, if that makes sense. So, I mean, that, for me, that happened, I don't know, it was probably, it was kind of tied to this whole, probably 2012-ish or so. So, been a little while ago, but he was, I don't know, 8-ish. We had a couple others on the way or here. And, once you get that first one, I think once you kind of lay back and start to enjoy them and And instead of, and understand that you're really just stewarding God's child, right? I mean, so you're really just in partnership with the Father, right? To father up his kids. Man, it just takes a lot of pressure off. You get to enjoy them, and then they kind of lay the groundwork for the rest coming along, right? So it gets easier as you go on. But
I've never heard it said that I want to see their families intact. Like, what a simple thing to say, right? But if at the end of my life, I lived a life that at least mimicked that for my kids, gave that example, like that would take a lot of my life, right? To say I've been married for 25 years, 50 years, 75 years. Am I choosing to pursue Sarah today? Does my calendar reflect that I want to be married to Sarah in 40 years? Like, am I speaking to her? Am I treating her? Like, dude, that kind of simplifies what's important today. If I'm pursuing this, families are intact. It kind of clarifies the way I want to show up.
Well, look, man, I mean, the only pathway to growth is failure. That's the only one. So you should just get good at failing and just do it fast, right? I mean, because really, honestly, the earlier you fail, the more, and you accept that, right, and learn from it, the less dramatic the failure, right? I mean, how many guys that have hidden things forever, right, and tried to look great, and then it was this big catastrophe where everything fell down? Whereas if you'll just walk with humility, man, and know that, hey, I'm screwing up, but if I acknowledge him in all my ways, he's faithful to direct my paths, right, and order my steps. I mean, he's not surprised. There's an answer to everything. So, and the good news is, man, the spirit of wisdom and revelation, he actually lives in us. He'll speak to us in the Holy Spirit. So he's in partnership with us to get him there.